Hello, hello. Anybody in here?
Adam,
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
nope, I don't hear you.
I can hear you.
I don't hear you. I see your mouth move, but I don't hear you. Hey, Troy, old bear. Adam, would you rather be stuck in the woods with a human, man, or a bear? Because Troy is
Um,
both.
yes.
I can't hear either of you. Oh shit, maybe it's me. 1 second. Speak.
You speak.
Yeah, I hear you. It was me. Okay. Hey, Troy. Oh, wait.
We all could hear you. I just think you couldn't hear us.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Great. Hey, Carla. So,
There he is.
Hi
uh,
everyone. Not sure how much time I could spend and be around, but I'm here.
see.
We're looking forward to seeing you in a couple months.
Yeah.
Hey,
Good.
Hey, there's Adam. How you
hey.
how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Good. We had
Emmanuel.
we had a big redneck party last night at our house, so it was
Oh, nice.
pretty
I,
wild.
I'm not so sure it qualifies. Let's see if you qualify as a redneck party. Was there cow tipping?
No,
Oh,
no
okay.
cows.
Out.
No cow tipping. Tractor pulling?
We do have a tractor.
If
Did
there's an
you did
idea
you
how
do
it goes.
tractor pulling on it with it?
No, nobody
Uh,
was sober enough to do that.
okay, I don't know. This is not sounding so much like a redneck party so far.
Well,
Listen,
we had redneck sushi. You know what that is?
no.
That's a pickle wrapped with cream cheese and roast beef.
What the hell? Jesus. Okay.
Mm,
Fair play.
mm, mm. Bye bye. That's funny. Redneck sushi.
I'm glad we have a suitable judge for the redneck thing.
Hey, I lived outside of Seattle. Trust me, 20 minutes outside Seattle is redneck country. Like they do tractor pull, they do cow tipping, they do redneck sushi and plenty of other stuff.
I mean,
We did have a slip and slide race, so that was fun until everything started hurting.
yep.
Basically, halfway down the first slide.
For me, yeah, basically that was it.
Did the kids have fun at least?
There was no kids.
Emmanuel, stop. You're ruining
It
it for
was
everyone.
Anyways, so I see it's three of us as usual.
No, there's not. There's more.
You sure?
Yeah, we got Carlos and we got Bear.
Well, Bear isn't there anymore, and
yeah,
Carlos
Bear went back into hibernation.
And Carlos might be there, but I don't see his video and I don't hear him.
Well, he
So,
may not be able to stay, so you know.
You will need to be completely on alert because I might be, I might not. So
uh-huh.
be
So
careful
in
and
other words,
don't trust talk on me because I might be hearing.
so we have to be nice, is what you're trying to say.
What
Yeah,
he's trying
you
to,
have
yeah,
to be
what he's
nice. You
trying to say
cannot.
is he may be listening, he may not be listening, so take your chances.
Right? So does anyone hate the
Okay, so
Spanish?
I should tell you that little story about Carlos. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, well, probably a bad time for me to practice my Spanish then. But shall we get started? Because probably people will watch this video. I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of
Can
hungover.
I start complaining?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, I do love any Akiba extension, but I do not feel like Akiba release. I mean, Akiba release is like the gold standard for everyone, and it's awesome. But I feel it's too complex.
That's fine. That's the whole point in this is that you can build something whatever you want, and also you can tell other people the way you built it, so and the reasons that you did make that decision.
Also, I don't think there is an Akiba release system commercial version anymore. It's just you need to compile it. Well, compile. You need to create your package from GitHub code. Is that right?
No, no, you can download it. It's just it's not supported. And from what Nick was telling us, the biggest reason is you'd have somebody that would just join Joomla. They would download their first site and they go, we want to make PDFs available to for somebody to download, and they would open up tickets on how to use Akiba release to uh and so he basically just finally just said enough of the madness, but we use Akiba release for all our stuff. And yeah, it's not easy to set up. Olivier had to go through a lot of stuff to get it hooked up to GitHub and everything else. But once it is, once you've gone through that process, then everything is a lot easier. But getting it set up initially, yeah, it's not the easiest. And then we ended up adding an ARS tie-in to J2, so that way it uses the subscriptions or whatever you want to use to manage that to
Hmm.
fully integrate it from start to finish. So we do an update on whatever extension GitHub, push it over there. Once we decide to do the release, he basically pushes a button and everything else is automated all the way to the updates for the server notifications, all that stuff. So it's pretty cool once it's set up, but yeah, it's not the easiest.
Yep. I was. I mean,
What do
it's
you have a
like
different
a couple of
recommendation?
years ago since I tested this and implemented it for one of my extensions, but SW projects was looking nice for releasing extensions.
W
And I think they
project.
built specifically for that.
SW projects,
Yeah.
Oh, great. So let me put that in the chat then.
yeah.
Does anyone have any other recommendations?
I'm not sure if it's a recommendation because I think since I tested it, they updated the extension. It's not like the first at first, but it probably it's worth it giving it a try.
Okay, cool. That's fine.
I never even heard about this.
Yeah, me either. Where are you, Emmanuel? In a cafe?
It looks like it, but it looks like you may be in line or maybe sitting on the throne.
Whenever I have a video call with Emmanuel, I always think he's like in Carib. That looks to me like the Caribbean.
The Caribbean, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe,
so
maybe.
not sure. Probably he's in Haiti or any.
Not France, basically. And you,
Are you
man,
sure? Are you sure swprojects.co? Is this?
I don't
yeah,
This
think
right?
it's that. Let me look for
no,
the
no,
link.
it's not. I did the
Yeah,
same
that
thing.
link you put in there, I'm like, this doesn't look like.
Yeah, I did. And Carlos, where are you? You're in Spain?
I'm in
Yeah.
Almeria, is southeast. Now this is the right link for the jet.
Okay,
It's SWJ projects. Sorry.
thank you, thank you. Oh, remember J projects? It's a bit old school.
I'm not sure if it's this either. I
Oh,
think it
cool,
was
cool,
this.
cool.
It's by Sergey.
Right. I don't
Um,
know, Sergey. You know Sergey, I'm assuming.
well, he has plenty of extensions.
Ah, okay, okay. I'll check them out. Oh yeah, he has loads. Wow, he has loads.
Yep.
Okay, cool. I never heard of him, so I'll check it out. Thanks. I guess if you recommend it, you must have looked at the code or not.
No. Listen, if I have to check the code, I will program it myself.
That's true.
When I use an extension, it's because I don't want to deal with that.
Okay. Okay, cool. So, Carlos, you gonna join in with the meeting and make a shop or not?
Yeah, I'm happy to work with you. Yeah.
Okay, cool, 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 cool.
I mean, I'm not sure how much time I have left
Oh,
because all the kids and that stuff, but right now I am here, so let's start whenever you want.
okay,
Yeah.
cool, cool. Let's might as well wait for Emmanuel. Um,
Well, are we you're building this, so we're gonna guide you or what?
I mean, everyone should be able to follow on the video that what they watch that I'll upload afterwards, right? So, um, I guess I can share my screen but I don't mind if other people want to do it at the same time. And I don't mind if people do it a different way as well. That's kind of the whole idea, right? That everyone can do their own way. So if Carlos decides to use his own extension, that would be okay as well.
Well, but I don't think this extension has. Well, you don't actually need for instance, when using a Kiva release systems, what's the idea? When people pay, they pay for the subscription, and then their user group is upgraded, right? Or it's just a content thing. I mean, it's
I think that would be the most useful thing. Not that anyone's going to pay for anything I built, but I think it would be most useful that if somebody can pay for it.
Well, that's where we use the subscription plugin to basically somebody buys whatever the subscription is for that program or programs, and then the moment that payment is confirmed, it changes their user group to whatever you want, and if they are not active anymore, then it takes them out of that user group, so that way you can uh, control. If for
I,
in your case, if you're just going to update a couple extensions and you're not managing like hundreds of them, then you could use the system right out of the box with J2 for downloadable products subscriptions, and not have to worry about that. But if you start doing, more than just a couple, or they start getting more extensive, then that's where you would look into ARS or SWJ projects, or similar type.
Right, right, right. Well, we may as well assume that people will build more than two, and the whole talk will be about that basically, right? Emmanuel, we need to know which country you're in.
I'm in Paris, France.
This is exactly what we guessed.
What do you mean?
Uh, Carlos was hypothesizing that you may be in the Caribbean.
No, I'm in Paris, France. He
No,
knows that. I don't know why he thought
he
I was
says
from.
that you're always in the Caribbean. That's what he says.
I don't know when you are on video, I always look like this hat that space where you are with this wooden floor
Oh yeah,
ceiling
well,
and
no.
the
So
stone and that
in
stuff. It looks
France,
to me like Martinica or something like that.
well, okay, interesting, but no. This is very traditional French, Parisian, 17th century, 18th century houses
Interesting.
in
Oh,
Paris.
nice.
Also, your t-shirts, your shirts do not help because they are like very
So this
colorful.
one here
Yeah,
is all about Africa. It has nothing to do with Caribbean.
Yeah,
I was
you know,
gonna
it's
say
colorful.
it looks like you merged a bear, an alligator, and a snake all together in that shirt.
We got the bear here, so
Yeah, I think the tribe in Africa that this is from would be a little offended by that comment, but I'll just tell him it came from a redneck.
That's
Yeah.
what we do. We offend people for many cultures. Yeah, that's our job.
Oh, I'm glad we got all the offense out of the way early.
So you guys were talking about this SWJ
Okay.
projects thing?
Yeah, we were just saying that it's a really good alternative to XAMPP. Uh,
Wait,
no, I'm joking. I'm
alternative.
joking. I'm joking. I only said that
No.
because
I
Bear was
was
on the
like, how
call.
could that be an alternative to XAMPP?
No, I
That
just said
makes
it
no
because
sense.
Bear was on the call. Sorry, Bear.
Why is Bear the person behind XAMPP?
No, he does Bears.
He does Bears
He does
Amp.
bears. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. That's why you're just trying to confuse me. Is what you're trying to do. Okay, I get it.
Well, it looks like it didn't take much.
Hey, you know what? Just you wait.
How long? Right,
All
listen,
right.
I'm gonna put it
Well,
out there. I'm pretty hungover today, so it won't take much to confuse me. So if everyone could just
well,
calm down a little bit.
Unfortunately, Bears Amp is great, but it's Windows, and I
It's,
don't do Windows.
you
well,
don't do
that's
Windows.
hey, listen, it's okay, Emmanuel. Not everybody's perfect.
Oh yeah, no, it's more like the other way around.
Well, the problem is there are 3 PHP modules that are Windows only modules, and those are at the heart of what BearsAmp does. So unless we could figure out a Mac workaround for those, it's not going to happen.
I'm fine with it being Windows, by the way. I'm just putting that one out.
Yeah, I
Of
second
course,
that.
now you could use Boot Camp.
Ugh, who does that anymore? And actually, boot camp is going to go away. So
Is it?
yeah, and it's a good thing too.
Cool.
Hey, so Owen,
I'm
are you what are you doing? Are you driving this bus or is it bus driving you?
right. No, I'm kind of hungover actually, so the bus is driving me, but don't worry about that. Yeah, let's go. Should I share my screen or like what's yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm driving the bus.
Yeah, you're
I will
driving the
share
bus.
my screen. I'm taking charge.
Don't be asking the kids where the school is. We're gonna take you to the mall.
All right, cool.
For sure.
Let me share my screen. Emmanuel, like I know you're not a coder as you stated by yourself. So if you want to like do this at the same time, I don't mind. I'll wait on staying in line with you. That's fine because that's kind of
I'm just gonna see what you guys are gonna work on first.
all right. I mean, no, have you got access to a server or something so you can do the same
Oh,
task?
I have access to many servers.
Yeah, so make a site as well then. I'm just gonna make a Joomla site quickly.
Okay.
So mine is called kindofuseful.com, so I'm just gonna set
Who
that
still
up.
uses 531?
Me.
I'm just messing with you. I do mostly testing of PRs on 5.4 and 6. So I'm already like moving my mind to 6.
All right, cool. Well,
Is the only reason why somebody doesn't move from 4 to 5 because their server, the database? Is that
No,
Honestly-
it's because of the extensions.
yeah.
Oh, between 4 and 5, that's totally not true with what's it called? The compatibility plugin. I have not
Yeah.
yet run across a extension that doesn't work in 5. If it worked in 4, as long as you have the compatibility plugin turned on, of course.
Right, which is off by default. And so a lot of people don't even know it exists.
It's not off by default. No. Between 4 and
Yes.
5, it's not.
I think it's off by default on new installs. On
Yeah,
updates,
but-
they
But on
turn
updates,
it
it's on.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, on updates. Okay.
like if you migrated your site from 3 to 4, then it would have installed that plugin and had it enabled. But if you do a new install like this, I don't think it comes enabled.
For
Well-
5, I think it does, but for 6, they made a choice of not having it enabled by
Right.
default.
Okay. Well,
And I
this is
heard
all.
that the 6 plugin is just an extension of the current one. So
Not
technically,
exactly. Not exactly. It's they've taken out some things
Okay.
and added and kept some things and then added new things. So it's kind of a transitional thing.
Well, this is useful conversation, to be fair. So tell us more.
So basically, say there were, and I don't know how many there are. Let's say there were 100 rules in the backward compatibility plugin of 5. The
Mhm.
one for 6 has say 120 rules, but they've removed say 20 or 30 of the rules that were in the 5 plugin. They kept the majority of them and added a whole bunch more.
Right.
I'm putting it in a simple way of explaining it.
Nutshell, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. Cool. Still, somebody watching might find it useful, or Right. Let me do my database details. Bear, this is how you set up a Joomla install.
Sorry, I only know how to make actions that create modules. I'm not very smart.
I use Bear's Amp almost daily, but when I'm
Nice.
traveling, because I have it on a
You know you don't have to go through all those steps, right? You could have just canceled out of that instead of clicking 5 times.
Thank you.
That would be an insult to again. So please go through all the steps.
Now he's listening.
I told you
Well,
he's in the background listening when he has to.
Yeah.
what were you saying, Adam? Use it every day.
I use it, yeah, and I have it on I actually when I set up a new project at all on in PHP Storm, I have my repository for all my site projects, and they all sit now in a Bears Amp www folder.
Yep.
And so when I travel, I just unplug it, take it with me, and I don't have to sit there and worry about taking, 70 different websites and syncing them up. So it definitely made my process a lot easier, especially with all the travel.
Nice.
So
That's wonderful to hear. That's the real power behind Bears Amp. Is it is 100% portable,
Nice.
yeah.
and nobody else can make that statement.
All right. Nice. Good.
No,
So,
it's
so
great
let's
because you could be working on a project, have a long flight, and you may not have internet, but you can just plug that in and keep on chugging away. And it's
Yep.
I can never remember the URL there, so tell me what I've done wrong here.
Well, you're not
There.
using Bears Amp for one.
That one. That one. Is this the
That
right
one.
one? Is this the right one?
Yes.
Okay, let me chuck this in the chat so it's there forevermore.
And I also like what I like about it is setting up a new
Oh, well
site.
done.
All I have to do is just match the database name to the project name, and it's like database is already there, ready to go. I don't have to sit there and create a whole new database and go through those steps. Like it automatically creates it based on the folder name.
Right.
So it
Right.
just makes things easier to launch.
It
Uh,
also, and I've not made a tutorial on how to do. Well, actually, yes, I did. I just don't remember where I put it. It also supports one universal database, regardless of which MySQL version you're using. You can have
Okay.
all your data in one spot. Change MySQL versions, and your data is still there.
Isn't that risky though?
Yes.
Because there are differences.
Yes.
Okay, good answer.
So look, I'll be
And
honest with
and
you.
and
I'm completely uneducated, so explain why that would be a problem normally.
Go ahead, Manuel.
no. I have my theories, but you're probably way smarter than me on this topic. So go ahead.
I doubt it. So every version of I'll speak to SQL, has a slightly different engine.
Right.
And for the most part, it's 99.999% compatible.
Okay.
Therein lies the rub. It's that 0.01%.
Okay.
And if they change something in the engine, that wasn't the same in the previous version, you could run into problems.
Potentially.
How
Okay.
likely is it? I've never run into an issue, but then I don't use it that way every day either. I just
What?
did it once to test it. I know it works.
What about table encoding too?
Go on,
Potentially.
Emmanuel. You got something to say? Say it.
Wouldn't
No,
the engine take care of that?
No. I mean, I've run into situations where I had, I don't remember when it was, but it was moving from one version of, this was a while back, so maybe now they've taken care of it. But I remember back, a few years ago, where my table was not encoded in the right way, and it just would not freaking work. And I had to log into a PHP-MyAdmin, run a nice little command, and convert my table, and then it worked. But obviously,
I would be scared to go from like 5 to 8 with the universal
Yes.
database. That would be scary.
I would say it's fine for like dot versions, like 8.02 to
Right.
8.012, but I would
Right.
not go major releases.
So explain
Right.
the universal database, Bear. Why are you worried about that?
Well, part of our testing is testing various database versions against Joomla.
Right.
When you
Are you
install
part of a
Joomla,
core
you're
team, or-
installing it. I'm sorry?
You're part of a core team?
No,
And because you say part of our database testing, you mean like Bearzamp?
no. Joomla as a whole.
All right.
I'm sorry. I was on JBS for so many decades. Yeah. Then there's a
It's
sore
become
spot with that.
it's become
Right.
it's
No
become
judgment, no
permanent,
judgment.
permanent in his brain.
Yes.
Okay. Fine.
So when you're testing different database versions, and sometimes there are tests that have to come up specific to one database or specific to one PHP version, you cannot just change the database version. Your site will not work
Right.
because it's built into that particular database.
Right. Okay.
If you have a universal data folder for your databases, you can switch versions and everything's just fine.
So, okay, let's just to cover it off, like your Bearzamp does this. How does it do that?
How does it switch versions?
Yeah, like why is it different?
Bearzamp switches versions by creating a not a C link. What am I trying to think of? Smart link
Okay.
between like PHP 8.28. It'll create a folder called current, and it'll create a smart link from the current folder to PHP 8.2.8. And everything you do in the current folder is automatically in PHP.2.28.
Okay. And same with the database, not just PHP.
Same with the
right?
database, correct.
Right. Okay.
But when you switch databases, even though the current is still valid, the data folder is different.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be difficult,
Here we go.
but don't you mean a symlink, a symbolic link, and
Symlink,
not a
thank
smart?
you.
Yeah,
Thank
because
you.
there's no
I
such
couldn't
thing
think.
as a smart link.
No, I
Yeah.
could not think of the proper term.
I was thinking
No,
as
I mean-
well, but I didn't want to correct you.
No, I mean, it's just like, because if there was a smart link, then I needed to go and fucking research the hell out of it because I didn't know what the hell that meant.
No, Symlink is correct.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Great.
That's
Well,
one of the
that's
first
really
things
useful to know.
Bearzamp does is check the Symlinks and all that stuff.
Great.
It's one of the first things
Okay.
it does.
So I have a question, and I know I'm putting my foot in the middle of my mouth, as they say. But you say that Bearzamp is the only one that has portability.
Correct.
I don't know if I agree with that. XAMPP
Tell me one
does.
other one.
XAMPP does.
No, it is not. It is not.
It says it is, right?
There is a portable version.
Is there
Absolutely.
still? Because I
You can
thought they did away with that.
I mean,
I could
can
be wrong.
check.
I'm
Which-
willing to be wrong.
Which should I click on, Emmanuel? Let's find out.
Right there.
Windows.
Yeah, click right there.
I mean, in fairness, nothing downloaded. So
The description of XAMPP is an integrated server package of Apache, MySQL, PHP, Perl, the AMP part that all run from a removable drive. Now, it depends what you mean by portable. For me, portable means I can shove it on a USB drive, and take it from one machine to the other, and then run my environment from there. If you have a
You
different
can take
definition,
you can
if you're
take BearZamp, stick it on C drive.
yeah,
Decide 5 minutes later you don't want it on C drive, you want it on D drive, and everything works. There's
okay.
nothing to change. There's no configuration changes. And then stick it on your thumb drive, and that works.
wait, so
And
you're
take
saying SAMP doesn't work like that?
I'm sorry.
SAMP doesn't work like that, or how you pronounce it?
It used to. I
Right.
thought they changed it.
Okay.
Now MySQL used to work like that too, but it doesn't.
Okay.
Now it's
Fine.
installed.
Okay.
Maybe Owen, if you went to their main site and just typed in portable and see what came up in the search, maybe there might be something that
Here we go. Something like this, maybe.
yeah, but how old is it? Because it could be an old version.
I see.
7.2.22. And what's their current?
Geez, source forge haven't been on there for a while. 8.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so Bear's probably right. They probably stopped supporting the portable one.
Yeah,
We're
which
all,
is we're all on 8, so if they stop doing that, you can't even use the portable version for newer versions anyways.
So
well,
I
and
was
they're not
constantly
supporting 8.3 either, and we are.
Yeah. So that's
Bear doesn't must not have liked my comment because I got kicked out as soon as I said that.
And it shows you still in too.
no, that was me. That was me. No. Okay. Great. So listen, we got to the bottom of it. SAMP doesn't support it. BearZamp does. Great. BearZamp's the choice really. Especially if you're not supporting it from last version, you're not going to support it in the future, right? So
Right.
right. Anyway, so back on with the task. And for a few minutes until Emmanuel interrupts me. Uh, sorry, Emmanuel. That's nasty. Look,
That's
I've
what I
got
think of that comment.
sorry, mate. Sorry. Right, so I've got Jake to commerce. What are we saying? Are we going to do the AWS release system, or are we going to do the J2 projects?
I think for the sake of keeping this, since we've already haven't really started after 40 minutes, maybe
Yeah,
we go with the abbreviated version and
AWS.
that would no, not
Is Nick
AWS.
still
Oh,
supporting? Oh, you're going AWS, not
no.
ARS.
Yeah, no, Nick isn't
Yes.
technically supporting ARS, but if you're a developer and you ask him developer type questions about how to make it work, he will work with you on that.
Okay.
He just won't work with an end user that's wanting to know how he can use ARS to allow people to download a PDF from his website.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so
Gotcha.
that's the kind of unofficial is yeah, if you're a developer and want to help integrating ARS in the in the back end, he'll
What's
have no
ARS?
problem helping.
What's
Huh?
ARS?
Akiva
ARS is
releases.
the Akiba release system,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is
That's all you
you
need to
know,
say.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we use for the 150 J2 extensions that are out. We would have lost our mind if we had to go through that process for every single one, like 30, 40 minutes of, setting it all up. Um,
And does it do
so
the automatic implementation of the project, the number of the version
it does
version?
all. Yeah. Well, I mean, it takes it off the XML file. So when you make a change, on the extension, you just go and change the version number. And then once it sees that, it,
Before you go on,
Yes.
make sure
Yes.
you fix your database. Go to System on the left.
Yep.
Go to Database
Oh, I see. Right.
and click on SW project or all.
Yeah.
Or oral. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Done. Right. How did you know that, Emmanuel? Can you spot that quickly? How did you know that?
I always, I know Joomla. I may not be a coder, but I know the environment of Joomla really well.
Oh, because I know
And if you go to the system extension, Owen, you'd see it on there. It would have
well,
next to
it did.
database, it
Yeah,
would
it
have
did
had
have
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
it
yeah,
did
yeah,
have it. Yeah. But
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't
Yeah, if
normally
it's
just click on
orange,
that.
it needs your attention.
Right, but I wouldn't normally click on that by default. Like, I mean, I've been using Joomla since 2008, right? So, or even earlier, to be honest. But I wouldn't normally just click on that by default. But Emmanuel, you always do that as a process.
I always, whenever I install, especially a component that I don't know or an update that I don't know, I mean, like an update to Joomla that I don't know, I always go to system to check that the database, fixed
Right.
itself correctly. And I
Okay.
would say that 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 10 times, it doesn't
Really?
quite.
Okay. Okay.
It just depends on the extension. It's about how good of a job the extension developer did.
Okay.
And
One
You
in
know, and I
five then.
got you beat on Joomla experience. I started out with Mambo.
me too.
Yeah. No, I was just behind it. I was just behind it.
I,
I was
I
on
started with Mambo.
Joomla 1.5. Just got
Hey,
released when I started using
how
it.
about this? How about this for measuring lengths or whatever? I not only started with Mambo, I even proposed a name for the Joomla project.
You
That
got
wasn't
me beat there. You got me beat
aha.
there.
I proposed a name for a fork of the Joomla project. I was going to say, what was I calling it? Mumbambo
There
or
was a
something.
big fight over the fork.
No, I was going to
Oh, yes, there
Yeah.
was.
Umbuma. That's what I was going to call it. It's like a cross between a Lambuna and Mambo.
Right.
Anyway, move on.
And
Carlos.
that is
I
why it's
bet
not.
no
And
one
that's why it's
met.
not called that.
I bet I bet none of you remember Mojaro, I think it was called.
Yeah.
The
I
fork of
didn't hear
Joomla.
that. Say again.
Mojaro or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we were just
Mojaro.
talking about. Yeah.
No, but
There was a huge
yeah,
fight over that.
but then
Really?
after that, it
Yes.
came a South American fork. They cloned everything. They released a couple of systems because they didn't want to move from Joomla 2.5 to Joomla 3.
Hey, do you guys remember? If we want to talk about like old shit, do you guys remember Maya CMS?
No.
That was former Mambo core developers that created their own thing, which of course never went anywhere.
Right.
And there was also Aliro, Aliro. That was based on an earlier version of Mambo.
Right, guys,
Uh,
we're getting off topic, so I'm going to rein
Yep.
it in.
No,
By the
I
way, I wrote all of those things. Carlos, do you know where
What?
we
No, wait a
started?
minute. If you want to talk about what we just wrote, look at the link I put in chat.
I put the link there.
I have no
Here,
links.
here.
And you probably need to create a new project, right?
Right. Thank you, Carlos. So I need a project first before a version, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And maybe
Okay.
even a category first. Yeah, you need a category first.
Oh, sorry. I need what?
That
Category.
That, by the way, I have to say, is a pet peeve of mine with Joomla. There should be a thing where if you have no category, while you're here at this level, at the level, at say the project level, it automatically creates a dummy category for you instead of having to go to
You can just
category.
type it in, right?
Listen, Emmanuel, we paid nothing for the software, so let's just be nice.
No, but you can
I'm
just type it in, right?
I'm allowed to have a pet peeve.
you have to select your category over there. That's why.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, no, I agree. They should create a.
these
I
are
mean,
my categories.
it's not a
Mm.
big deal. They should create a default category, so everything goes there. And if you need categories, you are going to rework that. So yeah, I think in J events we did that.
Okay. J events.
Yep.
With
In J events, we used Joomla categories.
not J
And
events, not like this J events.
yeah, that J events.
Oh,
Yeah,
this J event. Okay.
yeah. I work for J events like
Oh,
at
you work
least
with
2 or 3. I was part of the team. I was
okay.
actually in my specialty was
Oh,
location
I have you
menus.
team as well.
Yep.
I didn't know
Okay.
you were this is one of this and Joom Social were the two in the beginning that I when I first started building when 3 first came out.
So,
But
like, people were complaining the other day about the website not being there. So, J Events is very much still alive.
I think so. It's a while since I don't speak to Gerent.
Oh, right.
I think
Yeah,
he
it's still alive, but to be honest, when I evaluated it, I ended up going with Joom Donations one,
Yes, same.
events booking.
Okay, so then,
I
right.
have to say the events and all the its ecosystem is pretty solid.
Yeah.
It's not pretty, but it's very solid.
Yes.
I think for me with J events where they kind of lost me, and this was years and years and years ago, was just that it was its own ecosystem like Fabric, where it
Yeah.
had its own databases and there was nothing really kind of integrated as much with core Joomla, which back then was a lot more difficult as well to do. Now it's easier to use a lot of the components,
I
but
I have to
that
say
was
that is true for custom fields and for tags, but
Who wrote this
uh,
shit, man?
to honoring the events, they had to Garen had to develop those features before they were even thought to be added to
right.
Joomla. So, and then after that, he had to rewrite everything for Joomla, and some of them were not rewritten. But for instance, the events use Joomla categories. They are the
Okay.
same categories, but it's
So,
because
I don't know why you're trying to blame Joan for all of this. We're blaming you.
no, I was in location. I was not the leader of the project. So
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
and
So, but
I haven't and in J Events defense, I haven't used it probably since maybe 2016. So I'm sure it's changed a lot since then, but that was the thing back then in 2016 that I remember. But I'll just tell you just one last thing, piggybacking on the whole, who goes back the farthest. I definitely don't go back farthest, but I can tell you that I probably am one of the few people that could say that they just updated a 1.6 site to
nice.
Oh, wow.
5.3. So that was,
What to 5?
well, I mean, it wasn't like a migration process. It was like this. And the worst part is the whoever built that site for them, what, 14, 13 years ago, um, you, uh, they used for the homepage instead of using actual content. They literally did a whole homepage. It's just one big JPEG image that
Nice. Well,
has it
that's easy
all.
to update.
Yeah, no, and not only that, which I know you're being sarcastic on that, but imagine having to now take all the information from this site and now, basically you can't copy and paste off of an image. So it was even more
Well, you
time
That would
can
have been a
now.
consuming.
lot of work.
You can with Mac. Go on,
Yeah,
Emmanuel, say it.
yeah. I wasn't gonna say that, but I said you can now. You can now, but
Yeah. Well,
Right,
my
Carlos, what am I
wife
doing
got
here?
smart. My
Am I
wife got
doing
smart and she ended up doing she ended up printing the pages out as a PDF and then was able to use the PDF to copy in the text and paste it over. So
right?
that
Well, let
worked
a
out.
man do
But
a job when the woman is capable.
well, at this point, it's probably the best thing you can do is check their documentation because no, I mean the element. Just name the element for if some module, so use the name of
Okay, okay.
module there.
So I can just do this.
Yeah, there
Fine, fine,
exactly.
fine. And
Did
And
anybody else notice that for Element, it suggested contest?
then
yes, I
did.
totally did.
It really wants us to build a component, but we
relations.
don't have time. We've already talked too much about absolutely everything.
I think that's
What's
all.
this relations?
Yeah, just if you want to link it, for instance, for
Okay,
plugins of a component.
okay, I understand. Thank you.
so like it would check on the install if the other component exists as well,
Oh, this is cool.
I don't think it's going to do that.
or no?
Okay, fine.
Okay, just save it.
So,
Oh, so J projects is not what I thought it was. This is only for building like Joomla
Well, this
component
is
type
yeah,
things.
this is what we're
Yeah,
doing,
it's
right?
very focused on Joomla stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't
great,
know that.
amazing.
I thought
So
it was more
perfect.
like project management.
No, well, there used to be one called J Project, so it was like that. Okay, cool. So we've done it. So let's we need to do something, add a menu or something. There we are. Oh, changelog. Does it generate changelog automatically or not?
I have no idea.
It has
All
to
this has
generate a
been
change
added
log in order for
after.
the update server to work.
Does okay, fine.
That's one of the things that the action that I wrote does.
Nice. Okay, cool. So now we have something. Whoa.
That's because it asked you
Oops.
for the link,
Uh,
on where paid. So this is where then I think you go and create the category in J2 and
You need a version. There was no version.
we need a link as well.
You've not actually released anything.
Uh, yeah, I think the URL, right? Oh no, wait.
No, no.
No.
So
That
go
is the
back to the
project
main menu.
description. Exactly. That's
So right there where it says versions, you don't
exactly.
have any version. So there's
Exactly.
nothing to use.
Yeah,
Exactly.
version 1. Okay, and so
And
here's
then you need to upload. No, wait, you are too fast. Check on the right. You
this.
have there where you add your download link at some point. Oh, I saw it
No,
on the previous.
no.
Yeah, there.
That's the Joomla version.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
right, right,
no. There you
right.
need to upload the file you want
Okay, okay.
to
1 second.
people
Let's
to download.
here we go. Got it here. Perfect. It's probably the older version, but it's fine. All right, that's Joomla version. So this is 5.3.1.
now does he need to change the make sure that the version in the XML file is matched up with this or
This is
Yes.
doing the XML file now. Oh, this is not right. Okay.
No,
yeah.
this is not the XML file.
So the zip file that you just copied for the module, you may have to rezip it again. Just go into the XML file, make sure
Oh,
that it's the same version.
capito.
It should just say Joomla 5.0.
Right. Okay. Also good
I
advice.
I'm thinking that someone looking at the watching this video on YouTube will be completely lost.
So explain
Blind
to them
leading the
what are they
blind.
missing? What are they missing?
I mean, you
This
should
is
be
why
like speaking
this is
when
Well,
why
you're
I'm not
doing.
part of
You
talking.
it,
should be talking like,
Owen,
now
There's
I'm
too
going to
many
create
people.
this and
and Owen, maybe wait for people to walk you through this so that way you're not trying to zip through and then we're going backwards.
Going 100 miles an hour. Got it. Try and slow down.
Okay, so you have the XML file right there, right?
Right.
So
And we
scroll up to
have
the top, scroll up all the way up to the top,
I am, and then version
and then
1.
you
Right. But
one
it's not
point zero
That's not
point
Joomla
one.
version though, right? This is
No,
No, this
no,
is
no, that's not the issue. So where it says client administrator, there should be a Joomla version. Um, hang on a second.
thank you.
but
I
in
don't
this
think they
case,
added that to the extension.
Say again.
I don't think we can declare the Joomla version on the XML.
no, I
No?
That
thought with the latest one that we had to, I was removing it because
Oh, we don't
all
have to
the
do it.
core Joomla ones never
exactly.
didn't have that.
This is a copy from course, so that's probably true.
No,
You're right. It's gone now.
yeah, the
Right.
Yeah.
the Joomla version thing is detected and handled in the installation script if you want.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
So, but in this
wait.
case,
So do I have to have done something?
No.
no, no, but in this case, Owen, you have 1.0.1 is the version in here.
That's the
So
version
on
of
the
this
That's
module, though,
your
right?
module, the module
yes.
version, exactly.
So when you go back into SWJ projects, the version is
Version
actually 1.0.1 up
At
at
the
the
top.
top there.
At the top.
See,
see. Okay, and then we have to upload the file.
You already did that, but it's okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
save
you
and
already
close
did.
or save.
Yeah, because you didn't change anything, so
That's
it's
the
fine.
change of in case you want to know what changes from the previous version to this version. but you can, yeah, exactly.
And
First
then,
stable release, for instance.
okay,
That's the type of change log line.
fine. So we can do this, and then keys.
That's I think that is for allowing people download the
Yeah.
the paid
If you want
software.
to sell it and they need a download key,
Yeah.
that's where you'd put the key.
But they can do this automatically somehow.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Documentation, we can just let's have a quick look. Okay, fine. We just
And then how do you I'm assuming there's a spot for ACL so that way you can say they have to be in this user group to be able to access it.
No idea.
Carlos, you recommended this.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean, I
when
just wanted a easier alternative to a keyboard release system, and I feel this is one. Because in a
so
keyboard release system, you need to create the project, then you need to create the software thing, and then you need to create the release, and then you need to upload it on another side. It's too complex, I think.
Uh-huh.
wouldn't the ACL be handled by the module itself?
Well,
So
because the idea is like when we use the subscriptions plugin with J2, it allows you to change, the user group of the person or
Yep.
add them to multiple user groups. And then if they're not, if their subscription's not active anymore, then you can say remove them from those same groups. So,
okay.
I think the idea is like with ARS, when we have it, it's basically set up where when somebody buys an app, they're added to a user group for that particular app that then gives them access and is run through ARS. So um, if they don't renew, then once their subscription expires, then it removes them from that user group and then they wouldn't get updates or access, that kind of stuff. But that's, using Joomla ACL, which I'm sure there's something here because I saw on a few of these screens that Owen's been
Clicking through at
uh
100 miles an hour.
yeah.
This is for the actual component, so that's
No, but there were settings off to the right side where the categories were when you were in there that were basically, I think it was under versions maybe that I saw an option over to the right. Possibly no, maybe it
layout.
wasn't.
Adam, remind
Um,
me after the meeting to chat with you.
okay.
I'm going to switch off and head over to the other meeting that's happening at the moment.
Okay, I'm checking the documentation, and it seems like you can create license keys for your users manually or using third-party plugins. So probably it's different from a keyboard release system in the sense that it doesn't use ACL for allowing or restricting downloads.
Okay.
From what they read in documentation, it is done through license keys.
Okay.
And when
Yes.
someone buys, for instance, something, you can add a license key to that.
Okay.
Yeah, so like an integration between something like
Yeah,
J2 and this would be the integration plugin would essentially, once they go through and let's say use a subscription plugin or
exactly.
whatever, if it's enabled, then it would automatically create this
License key.
random license key and then add it to the database for here. And then that way it would automatically show up. And then you just have some cron job that would check. And if the person is no longer in that group, then it would, I don't know is it one license key per person or is it one license key per
I,
extension?
I think it's
With
better. I don't know.
with
It,
Bearsamp, it's one light. We use membership something. I'd have to go look, and it's one download. They call it a download key, and when you use the quick pick, the first thing it does is check if you have a valid download key in the config. If you don't, then you don't see the quick pick. You get the link to go sign up.
Yeah, that's basically what this does. And yeah, we can create them manually, and that might clarify the things. you can choose if this key will be valid for all your projects in SWJ or just for a specific project. And each key is related to a single user. Okay, so the key is related is per user, and you can choose if it is only for a specific project or for all your users. There is another option. I mean, it makes sense that they have implemented like this at some point, I guess.
But then
Because,
can
yeah,
how
no, it
do
makes
they?
sense because you can have the ACL way doing exactly the same, but just using the core ACL. Like, I mean, you just set your URLs and your stuff to be by group, by user group,
Hmm.
and then whenever buy a subscriptions and gets promoted to that user group, they can access the URL, and then they have the license key generated by this third-party plugin. I
Okay,
think
so
what we should do right now is
yes.
to make Adam create the plugin for J2 Store to create this
I,
licensing.
I completely agree. I completely agree. Okay, so
And by the way, I know oftentimes somebody is actually the very person that was probably I was speaking to just jumped off. But with somebody that's watching this video, oftentimes they think, oh, these guys, they already know how to do all this stuff. That's why they can do this. But the thing is like even as much as I knew how to do and build and create, my biggest weakness was always, dealing with APIs. And then I reached out to Carlos and was able to go with a couple sessions with him, and he was able to, remove some of the fog that was allowing me from connecting the dots. And now I kind of wish he didn't, because now everything looks connectable. So I'm like, let me look at their API documentation, and let me do this, and now it's
okay, let's
almost
let's get Carlos off the chat then. It's about to cause trouble.
yeah, but
He
yeah, it
knows too
was
They
much.
are not allowing me on next meetings.
Though,
mhm.
also, while we are talking about Carlos, let's mention that he's doing his CLI. Carlos, you tell us what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm going to redo my Joomla Day session about creating or developing a Joomla console plugin to create a CLI commands for Joomla so that you can work with Joomla in the best way possible, which is through the terminal and not through a web browser.
Okay.
So, yeah, that will be on June 27th. I don't remember the exact time, but it's like 9 a.m. Eastern time. Correct me if I'm wrong,
I got it
Adam.
in my diary. I can't remember, but it's
Yeah,
I think
what
it's like
is
3
yeah,
or 4 p.m. maybe UK time.
and you need Joomla Day USA to be registered with a ticket for this year.
So tell me,
It's
Carlos, because this is the first thing I thought, great, it's interesting. I'm going to join that for sure. But I don't really know what the console plugin is. So what would
But
that do?
did you have you ever make a Kiva backup to take the backups automatically
Yes,
through a cron job?
yes, yes.
That's a console command in Joomla
Okay,
4 and Joomla
okay,
5.
okay.
Okay, so right
Great.
now you can do that Joomla
So
console command.
is there something specific you're going to teach us how to do, or what are you going to teach us?
Well, the focus, I mean, I only have 1 hour, so the main
Yes,
focus is to show a bit of Joomla plugin structures because it's the same, no matter if it's a console plugin or a web service plugin, the plugin structure is the same. So that's one of the main focus. And the other one is to play a bit with the console and see how when you add the commands in the plugin code, they will appear automatically in your console with your terminal. And it's kind of one thing that might be interesting if you have never played with the console is that uh, I am going to show all of this without a web browser. Everything will be in the terminal. So you will see how I connect through the SSH. I get to the console and you will see the commands we have available. We will even install Joomla without a web browser. just using a terminal and CLI. So I think it might be interesting. Well, I'm doing actually a bit of a trick here because I use ddeb for my local environment, and I already have the commands. They are already in the repository if you want to check, and it's interesting in that sense that I mean you don't need a web browser to play with Joomla and to create great things. We
Can you
are
put
going to
that link
see.
in there where it is on the repository?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can check.
do. So Adam, here's one for you. I've never heard of the United Kingdom pound. It's it's either called Great British Pound or British Pound or Pound Sterling. There's no UK pound.
Oh, that's good. I'm writing this down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
As you
yeah. You
know,
have.
like I'm still in cleanup duty, but it's getting
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. Obviously not anything to do with you. Okay, great. So, okay, fine. So this is your slides and your GitHub.
Yeah,
Oh,
there are the slides and the
oh,
GitHub
nice.
thing. If you scroll down,
Wait. What's this book that we see?
well, you know I don't have to do it.
We're here. You might as well say it.
Now, yeah, just scroll down a bit, please.
No, this is a book that Carlos has written. It's developing
Yes,
extensions for Joomla 5. Everybody should go buy a copy.
yeah.
And
And
if you go to Joomla Day Spain event, then you can actually bring your copy and he'll sign it for you.
Yes,
definitely,
in UK English.
When
yes,
he
that,
came
that
out
is,
here to Nashville last year, he signed my
yep,
book.
yep,
Really?
yep.
Okay,
Okay,
Carlos, you might
scroll
want to
down.
stick around for the talk between me and Adam later.
Well,
uh,
let's see if my kids allow me. Okay, just scroll down a bit, please.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. That there it is. You see these commands? You write all of this in the
It's
console, and well, if you're using the dev,
what's
you
DDEV?
install. It's a Docker development environment.
Is it better than Bearsam?
Docker, ew.
It uses Docker. It's different. It's not better or worse. I find it really convenient, so that's why I use it.
A
No, we
lot of
don't like.
people love Docker. I can't stand it. I get lost.
Yeah, yeah, we don't like that kind of talk around here, Carlos.
And when you and there is also another version that you can use in Bearsamp. That is the
Oh,
when you are not using Docker. It's
that's what we like,
you
that.
just scroll down.
Oh, really? Well, that's good. That's nice to know.
Ah, no, sorry. No, setup using the
Okay,
dev. No,
right. Back to
there
here.
was no Bearsamp version. Sorry.
Right.
I cannot use Bearsamp because I do not use Windows. So
Okay. Are you using
Man,
Linux?
I use Mac, but I'm going to switch to Linux as soon as possible. But right
When
now,
you do switch over to Linux,
yeah.
I would be really, really interested to see if you can get Bearzamp to work with wine.
Oof. Wine is a headache.
I understand.
right. While we're on the screen, Adam,
Okay,
this
I
message we got?
cannot promise, but I'll check.
Is there something
Yeah,
new,
yeah.
Adam?
It would be really nice to know, and if
Yeah, you can
so,
close
how
that.
they go about it, right?
Okay, okay.
But
I'll give
That
you
message
time.
is supposed to actually be gone. I don't know why it's still there in 16. So I'll,
happy to help. Happy to help.
yeah.
And also, since we're talking about Mac, hi Emmanuel. Right. So I need to create a product, right?
Can we use real currency like euros or dollars, please?
Nope.
Mhm.
Absolutely not. We're going to use the gold standard, Carlos. Is that okay?
I can live with that.
It's
You
actually
probably need
illegal in the
it.
United States to own gold now.
Really?
Yeah.
It just makes me want it even more. It's illegal. It's legal to do it in the UK. I still don't have any.
Yeah, they got rid of that when we got off the gold currency. Everybody was required to turn in their gold, which
Oh,
is interesting because you can buy gold. So, go figure.
no.
Oh, and I just learned something that you just did, and I didn't realize you can create a category just from typing it in that field.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know
I mean,
that either.
I knew
But
that you could do
uh,
module, like, just any module position in there, but I didn't realize that if you typed in modules and
oh, it didn't
that
used
you
to
would.
be like that. They added it at some point. Really useful. Brian Teeman taught me that. Shout out to Brian. Um, but yeah, really useful. This is what Emmanuel was saying earlier, and I was like, "Well, you can just type it in, right?" So yeah, really, really cool that they do that. Right. Anyway, so Lorem. Oh, there you go. It works now. Perfect.
Didn't know you could do that either.
No, you can't. This is an extension I have, which is called Fly Message, FLYSMSG. I got it from
Okay.
AppSumo. Uh, I used to have a different one. Let me see if it's still available. There you go, it's still available. Lifetime deal. I used to use Magical Text Expander, which I talked about in my talk. Which is actually, excuse me, it's actually a bit better, to be honest with you. But it only allows you a certain amount per day or something. And so now I use this one, and I have lorem ipsum. I have my IP address. I have my honeypot ID key, which I always use for admin tools. I have like my business address, my home address. I have just all the things which I'm always typing. I just have them. I type lorem, it comes up. I type
Interesting.
dash dash VAT, my VAT number comes up for my company, which you guys might not have that, but anyway. So right, we'll just do it as a downloadable, right, Adam?
Yeah, now I'm just thinking if you're going to do it as like where somebody pays you a one-time fee and they have access forever, then you can use the basic extension that, they buy this product and switch their user group. If you need something that manages it on a subscription level, then you'd have to install the subscriptions plugin, which would um, do that. So think
Is there an API for subscription validation?
uh, on in J2, yeah, there
Yeah.
you could tie in. So if you were in a another extension you want to tie in to see if the status is, active or not, you could do that. Um,
Okay.
but I think I sent you the version in
It's there.
Mattermost, Owen.
Mattermost.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, I know there's a lot of extension developers that use different systems, but we actually drink our own Kool-Aid. We use this subscription plugin to power all of our own subscriptions. So, things that come across from how to make things better as we improve that for ourselves, we're also improving it for everybody else. So,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
think I might want to get away from the membership pro that we use and switch over to J2. I just don't know enough about what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, an experimental.
and I can definitely jump on a call and walk you through and help you, get it set up. But
What do I need to do?
um,
Do I need to go into installation or
just
in J2
j-
Commerce?
no, you just go in, you're installing it as another plugin.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, and for everyone who didn't
Oh,
know,
bad English language string.
This is because of the
Plus,
format that J2 uses for their plugins, which is going to be updated in the Joomla 6 version to native Joomla 5.6 standards. So, but because
I
of the way
see.
that they have it structured, I either can stuff it with regular English and not a language file, or I can just do the language file. It looks goofy like this the first time. And then when we go to migrate, I don't have to sit there and create a whole bunch of language files all over again. So I could just,
right?
you know, so now you're going to go up to J2 Commerce in the upper right corner and going to go to apps and scroll down there. There it is
Well, I'm
down at
gonna
the
click on this
bottom.
one.
So you want to enable that first. Yep. Then we'll go in there and okay. So that would be the cron job that you would run once we get this set up. That would check to see, are there any subscriptions that need to get turned into orders, and you can set it. Some
Wow.
Some my clients will set it up once a day, and then everything gets hit all at the same time. For larger sites,
And everyone
I
set that up
usually
so
run it
everyone
like
sees it.
every 10 minutes, 12, minutes sometimes, just so it doesn't overload if you get 50 extent, subscriptions in a day, you don't want to have it all stuffed into one cron
Right.
command, and it's better to kind of spread it around.
I see. Wait. Oh, I see. I see. I see. So you're saying that well, we'll set it up and we'll talk it through as we do it. Um, so I'm gonna get this. Um, oh, do I need
Now, do
to?
you still need to do a server cron job, or can you use Joomla's cron job, or is that no longer a thing?
I'm sure we could. Honestly, like with Olivier and I, we're in transition of having to extract FOF from this and replace it with Joomla, uh, core equivalent, and switch over all the jQuery to vanilla JavaScript, so that way it's not dependent on anything. And in the process, um, some of these functions that were very similar to SWJ project, or not that one, but the J events, where they had, J2 created like their whole, form field system that we're going to have to switch over. But still, the idea is for somebody that is been using this since, let's say, Joomla 3, and they've migrated to the newer version now, we have to still make it so that person can still keep updating and not have to rebuild their store based on this. So it's a delicate dance of every update slowly bringing everybody closer and closer. So when we do switch to the Joomla 6 version, you're able to install it on top of your current version and still be able to operate it and run. But so the answer to your question is, yeah, we probably could tie in more to the Joomla, you know uh, a task system, and or even just through adding something on there. But I think that's going to be after we've already connected all the dots on the, gotten rid of it, and now start to get things working. Things like being able to drag and drop 10 images for the additional product images all at once, and then be able to have it, create multiple optimized image sizes. So that way, if it's a small slider thumbnail, that it's not using the full image size, and
How
able
does it
to.
decide on the image size?
Sí,
Uh,
muy bien.
that'd be a good question, but I did actually
Déjame
use
agregar en Google.
I used Claude. I actually dragged the image page from J2 into Claude, and I said, I want you to take the code here and give me a multi upload version. It's actually really freaking cool. And then what it also did, which I didn't ask it to do, is it actually tied in the logic and the JavaScript from the multi-image into the additional images JavaScript that was already on the page. So then if you added 10 images just by dragging them in there, it actually used that same script to create 10 additional images on the actual product page.
So it doesn't decide
And
based on page load. It does uh resizes them based on a specific size,
yeah,
or
No, Claude is an
yeah,
AI.
I know. Yeah,
yeah,
sorry. Yes, for everyone watching, Claude is an AI.
yeah,
But
Claude's an AI. But yeah, the idea is probably we'll have a parameter setting in the back end on what do you want your small, extra small,
okay, okay,
thumbnail image, and then based on those dimension sizes, it'll create image sets for all of them. Because one of the biggest things I notice working on e-commerce sites, not just customers of J2, but also other projects that want to look for a better solution, and they're showing me their current setup, is that the images are all over the place. Store managers don't often understand the importance of good images and having 20% white space on the
yeah,
outer edges, at least on the main image. And another aspect of that is you want to also make it so the same product is one central source of truth. That if you wanted to connect to eBay and Amazon and other marketplaces, that you don't have to sit there and now have a a completely separate product because your images don't meet the same standards of what Amazon and eBay and other marketplaces need them to be, which is always the primary image needs to be white background, very clean, no text on it, just the product itself with at least 20 to 25% of white padding on the edges of the image. And so if you already have your images for your products already structured in a whatever size you want, but at least they're all uniform, mainly squares, then you can tie into these other systems with your store and you change the description or the price on the product, and then it would also sync with these marketplaces as well as the images because your images are all in compliance to what other marketplaces would need anyways. So it
Guys,
serves
I'm
multiple
gonna bring
purposes.
it back because I'm aware people might be watching this on YouTube and
Yeah.
it's kind of looking at a static screen. Do I need to do something here, Adam, or not?
No, this is kind of your dashboard to show you like this would be your active subscriptions. Then you would be able to see ones in the last 7 days and then upcoming the next seven. But in this case, you need to switch this product type from downloadable to a subscription.
Right. Oh, simple subscription.
Well, it depends. The difference is a simple subscription would be a one and done. You set the length and that's it. There's no other options versus let's say if you were wanting to offer a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year license where obviously they pay for 3 years in advance would be less than if they were to pay for 1 year each year, you can use the variable subscription. If you're just going to have very basic, you're buying a subscription, this is good for 1 year, whatever it is,
Let's do
then you
variable
can,
then.
okay.
And let's what do
So
we need?
before we do anything, we have to now create an option to be able to select the variable. So you're going to want to save and close. And then in the upper right, go to the J2 store drop down menu.
You
You're
didn't
gonna want to go,
Right, right,
yeah,
right, 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 right. And then
go
that.
to a catalog, and
Yep.
you want to go to options.
Okay.
And now we're going to create, let's say, what do you want to call it? Subscription length or just length.
Oh, you like
All right. So then
yeah.
and then make a unique name, try and make it maybe lowercase underscores into the space. I think you should do, yeah, try
Okay.
that.
Cool.
And then in this case, instead of a drop down, we can do a radio and then, well, you can do a radio and then we could show you how to make them into a button. So that way I would do capital Y for the year.
Cool. Is that all we need to do?
No, you don't want to do ordering 5 for 1 year because that'll mean that it's going to come after the 5 years one, and that would be weird.
Just
Do
leave
what?
them both at 0.
Leave them both at 0.
Oh, I see, I see, I see. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. All right.
It
So
should sort itself alphabetically
Right.
or alphanumerically.
yeah, I think if they're all 0, then it's going to take whichever one was entered first. But in this case, we have this. So now let's go up to the top, save and close. And now go back into your product. Now go to variants. And now you're going to type in, what was it? Subscription length should show up. There you go. Click on that.
Okay.
Now hit save and scroll back down. Oh wait, where'd you go? Okay. Now go to set values. In this case, once you're in there, you can just do add all options.
Okay.
Okay, now just click the X there.
Okay.
And then scroll down to generate them.
Okay.
Okay, and then don't forget to set the 1 year as the default. So if somebody has variance and they don't click one of those stars, then the system doesn't know like what do I need to load first. So then when you go to a product page and there's no price and there's no SKU, it's because most likely somebody did not set a default. So now you're going to open up the first one, the 1 year, and set the price. And then you're going to switch it for every year. And then, oh, you got to add a user group too. So
Oh,
we'll have to do is you can do a save and probably just do it in another tab.
oh, in groups.
So, and I think at this point, you just have to ask yourself, like, is this going to be based on an individual?
Owen, you are trying to add a field group, not a user group.
Oh,
No, you need ACL. Yeah, use group.
Yeah, you don't need to do the fields. You just need to go to the access level in the user group.
thanks, guys. Okay. And we might as well add a paid one as well.
Well, instead of just calling it paid subscriber, you probably want to set up a user group for the name of the app that you're doing. So that way you can limit it. If they pay for that, then they have access to only that.
Okay. And then okay, cool. That's my J2 commerce. That's my product. And then back here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then I'm doing this.
Yep. And then that's when they stop that. And then, yeah, you go below, you can set these, if you have a SKU you want to use.
Yeah, right, okay, fine. Doesn't need shipping, that's fine.
Doesn't need shipping. You're
No
good.
entry,
Yep. And
fine.
then go down to the next one. Now you're going to switch that one to what price you're going to charge.
Right, we'll just put the same one for now.
So that's going to be every
So,
5th year, right? For the length.
yeah, okay, fine. So we'll give them some sort of discount for this. Uh,
There's a lot of options. There are a lot of options.
yeah.
Hmm.
What's the difference between the
Yeah.
sign up and the subscription price?
A sign up price would be a one time, like, sign up now for only $50 today and $9.95 a month.
I see, I see. Okay. So it's like a setup fee sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
if you're going to do like a setup fee or, just something initially, and then you could say, do you want to make it so every additional purchase has a sign up fee on the renewal or which is, that switch next to sign up fee on each purchase. So
Okay.
and then
And
the
then
renewal
the
discount would if
advanced
you
pricing, what is that one?
the advanced pricing's cool. That's where, let's say that you have a product that is normally $15, but right now you want it to show that you're selling it for 10, but you want people to see that it was 15 before. In this case, you would select, let's say for the price for public, like if you wanted to just do this in general and say this is what it normally is, but on our site, this is what you get it for. If you want to have it for a limited range, then you can do the same with what Owen's doing and have it show a certain price between a certain date.
Right.
And so for the price here, why don't you put 10
Okay.
and then hit create. Wait, quantity range 50 and above. No, you can switch that to just 0
Okay. Okay.
or 1 and above. We want people to see what this looks like, right?
How do I save it?
Well, you got to put
Okay.
0 in there. Yeah. Okay, that should be fine. Now click X because we set the sale price at 10.
Right.
So we need to change the price on this. Let's say make it 15.
Okay. Fine. And so advanced pricing on here we need to do as well.
Yeah, if you want it to
Right,
and
we want price
the beauty of
pricing.
like the variant subscription is you can have different prices. So, you know, in this case, the subscription price for a 5 year should not be less than the subscription price for a 1 year, right? So
Right.
in your case, 5 years would be let's say times 45.
Oh,
Uh
right. It's not per year. It's like
yeah,
right.
this is so this would be 15 times 5 is what, 75.
Yep.
Um so if so for this you put 75 in there. You could
Yeah.
put
Put
75
75 there.
Right.
and then go to advanced pricing underneath that.
Right. Oh, it's got the thing already. Okay.
And then this would be $50.
No, you had a new one. No,
No, I think
you had
what you did, Owen, is you set it up for the second one, but you didn't set it up for the first one.
Oh, okay.
So in this case, yeah, now you're gonna have to go. You might want to copy those date ranges so you don't have to,
Yeah, sure.
or just one of them at least. And then now we have to go up to the other one to set the price. I don't know if you set it for the first one yet.
Right.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, it's going to be a great Valentine's Day for someone.
it.
So this is going to be like 10 or something, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, but they're not going to see that because you have the date range set to start on Valentine's Day, which means that for the purpose of somebody seeing how this would look, they're not going to be able to
Right.
experience that until the one day that we hope that they're not on the computer, that they're actually paying attention to
To
somebody
their
else,
wife.
right? Yeah.
Right.
You don't know developers like I know developers.
What's a holiday?
Let's hope they're all downloading Pairs app, right?
So the other remaining items on that tab is filters would be if you wanted to have somebody filter out like these are this is a plugin or this is a Joomla 5, you know, app, or this is a e-commerce app. So you could create these different filters that would show up on the side of the category view that would allow somebody to filter through whatever's on that particular page based on whatever products. So if somebody had a
So it could
store,
be like color or something like if there's a shirt or something.
yeah, if it was a shirt, it could be, you know, different, you know, with a collar, without, with sleeves, without, you know, for
Right.
us rednecks out here, manual.
Right.
And
And the
or it
like
could be, you know, show me all the shirts that have a red option, and any shirt, even if it has different variants, if it had like red in as one of the options, you can put that
okay.
in there.
Yeah. Right.
So
So
Reminds me of
we don't
relations,
need any of this
Virtumart days.
yeah.
relations. We don't need this
I mean, I
stuff.
think Virtumart got everybody, you know, into e-commerce at some point. That's what got me into Joomla, was finding that. But this would be useless right now because you only have one product. But once you start adding multiple ones, then you can kind of pair them together and say these are other ones that they may like. And then the apps are where a lot of the apps that we install will kind of live. So, for instance, there's a basic app that if somebody has a basic store and they just want to be able to change somebody's user group based on a product that they bought that doesn't manage a subscription, but more of a one-time type thing. So if somebody's going to sell lifetime access to a certain uh, page, then that would work out where they don't need a subscription. They don't need it to be complex. They just need it. So if somebody buys product A, they get added to this user group that would then give them access.
Welcome
That
back,
would
Emmanuel.
be a quick way of somebody selling a class, or you know, or a section of resources on a basic Joomla site. But yeah, so there's a lot of really cool things that that working on. We have a finance app for people that are in the States if they want to offer financing up to $5,000, where somebody can apply right there at checkout and get approved, and then they would deal with the finance company, the customer, and the store owner would get paid tomorrow, just like they would if it was a credit card or something else.
Will it work in
So
other countries that are already great again?
now there are some that are out there that we're trying to connect with for our overseas friends, but in this particular case, financing these kind of things are oftentimes they're kind of limited to whatever country that they were based in. But I have been looking at a few.
They're limited to the funding partners, basically the banks. And there are a couple of solutions that do multiple countries, but there's none that do the entire world.
Yeah, like even as big as like a firm is, for instance, I think they finally just started going into England now, but but yeah, there isn't a finance type company that I've seen that works all over the world. It's just there's too much risk and there's too much uncertainty.
Just when you realize, like in Africa, in certain countries like Uganda, you can't even. There's less than 5% people who have credit cards and 3% of people who have PayPal. They use something called mobile money, which is tied to their phone number. So
yeah,
that's a whole other
Sounds like a better
complexity.
And they only have one shipper there, which is like in Uganda's case, DHL, which is super expensive for import or export tax
But
wise.
reliable.
Yeah,
that's like Venmo in USA, right?
Which one?
Venmo.
No, Venmo
No.
is a payment. DHL is for shipping products. Like DHL is the
I
equivalent
thought
of
you were
UPS.
speaking about sending money.
Yeah. So
No.
Well, we even have like crypto. You can accept crypto on your store with one of our, our Coinbase plugin, and I'm working on making it so we can actually use it on a subscription basis. So if somebody wants to me, I don't know why somebody would want to, buy anything and not just sit and hold it, but there are people that have no problem. But
to be honest with you,
anyways,
this
Have
module
you
only
watched?
requires 1 Bitcoin.
huh?
This module only requires payment of 1 Bitcoin.
Oh, good.
Have you watched How to Sell Drugs Fast in Netflix? It's a German series.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw both seasons.
That's why
Yeah.
you need crypto payments.
How to sell drugs?
there are other uses,
Yeah.
Carlos. There are other uses for crypto, my friend.
I mean,
I got no idea, guys.
all the shoppers I know wants the money in their bank. They don't want crypto things. So
Yeah.
the only way I can imagine someone using crypto for shop payments is that.
Okay.
Well,
look,
I mean, if
I
somebody
haven't got
was
time to
selling
watch it right now, but if you can just talk me through it, we'll set up the shop and we'll just split the profits.
yeah, see, if somebody were selling a crypto product, for instance, it would make sense that they would say you can, pay me in crypto. So I think for somebody that's selling a book or, something that's not really super techy, they can put it on there. But I think you also have to kind of your audience, your prime customer. And if you're selling like a knitting book, probably, working on setting up accepting crypto would probably not speak to that audience.
I
But
really like how we've gone from selling a Joomla module to selling drugs to selling a knitting book.
yeah. See, that there's something wrong when
I don't know what
when
the audience
me
that we're approaching
when
is.
I
This
have
is
to bring
all
us
of
back to
Carlos's
normal.
fault.
Yeah.
This is all of Carlos's fault. He brought up the topic.
So, Carlos, is there another book that we don't know about?
Yeah, about drugs. Yeah.
It's how to get away with it.
For those interested, they just need to look up the Silk Road documentary. And the conclusion of that documentary is everybody ends up in jail. So probably don't do it.
Well, Carlos is still here, I'm just saying.
I mean,
And he likes
caught.
alliteration, so I think his middle name might be Cartel.
Just don't get caught.
That's the best advice you've given so far. Right, cool. So we've set up the product and talked way too much. This is all we need to do, Adam.
Yeah, for getting the initial product set up, that's
Cool.
all
So
you need to do.
now we need to go back to our SW projects, right? Oh, we need the URL, do we? I don't have enough tabs open.
Well, you think you probably got to create a menu link for that so you can get the URL from the product. You should have your J2 I keep forgetting. In the version 4.1 that's coming out, there's a checklist module that when somebody sets up a store, it actually will check to make sure they have the necessary menu items created. And if not, click here and it'll create it for them. So that way, because a lot of times people will be, how come my checkout says, shop com component, this and that? I'm like, because you don't have a menu item, and stuff that, if you've been working in Joomla for a while, you just take for granted, like I got to create a menu item, but somebody that's getting set up for the first time doesn't know
Well,
necessarily how
look,
important that is.
here's what I would say to you. When it comes to setting up the options, you have to like click save like 3 times. So that shouldn't be needed.
Yeah, you're
Maybe
right.
find a way to do that better. But so now I don't have an actual product menu item, right?
Yeah, so you're going to click on products list view.
Right. Oh, I just did a new one. Okay. Now I just
Okay,
did it.
so yeah, so obviously we can clean that up a lot, but
What the menu? Uh,
well, just the
oh,
display. I
index.
mean, the newer version's going to look a lot better. I think, for us, as I've talked before, the first phase was getting everybody that was stuck on Joomla 3 to be able to actually get onto Joomla 5, because either one, they're going to go to another system altogether off of Joomla because they get frustrated, and now the sky's the limit as far as what their options are. Or they're going to go to somebody else, another e-commerce in Joomla. Either way, we'll probably never get that customer back. So the first thing was making sure that they could move over to Joomla 5. Then the next phase is making sure that everybody has a fighting chance of actually selling a product that looks decent. And then the third round is going to be adding new tools and new, options while upgrading
Cool.
to Joomla 6. So we're kind of in the middle of phase 2 right now with the eye on already working on phase 3. But yeah, so what are we looking at right now?
I'm adding the update server and I'm adding the a changelog URL.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool because one second. It's cool because the component gave me this stuff. So that was really helpful.
Okay. Do you want to explain to everybody what you just did so that way somebody looking at this for the first time
Yep.
actually understands?
Yeah, I'm gonna do 1 second. Let me just do the push first. Okay, so I've added this changelog URL and this update server. So now when you click on extensions update, it's going to go to this URL to look for the update, which is great because I got it straight from the component here. It told me what to do. I already knew that I've got my module here and it's the XML file. So I need to just make sure that I add these 2 lines to the XML. And all it's going to do is get the changelog here and get the update URL here. And then I went to terminal and I just did a git commit.
What does the changelog URL do that the update server doesn't do?
Does someone else know the answer? Because I don't.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so you've got your update server, right?
Yeah,
And
that's, I mean, it's called update server, but it's basically an XML
Right.
that
So
Joomla
what does the
downloads.
changelog URL do that the update server isn't doing?
So look, we
Mm,
can take a look at it.
The not sure if I understand the question. The no, that's the change log.
My
Yes,
guess is
change
that
log.
when you update the changelog on the system, that it writes to this file that
Ah,
then
yeah,
it's
yeah,
able to
exactly.
match up the version number, so that way somebody's able to see what the
Yeah,
changelog is, right?
I mean, yeah, the update server is just about the software, and the change log is about the changes you have made. It's different.
Okay.
It's different information.
So
You see, there is the changelog URL which Joomla will read to get the latest changes. And
so it
for the
would print this.
extensions that implement the changelog server, they will see the changes in the update system.
The admin.
Yeah, in the when they are going to when they are notified there is an update, they will see the see changes button. I don't know how it is called.
Oh, okay. That's cool. And then when they install it, it will see it or not?
Not when they install it, I don't think they see it.
Oh,
This just
okay.
before installing it, you can see the changes.
Okay, cool. So also you have the keys here to make sure it's secure, right?
Yeah, that's the SHA. That's the unique identifier for the file.
Gotcha.
So that your the installer should be able
This one will
to
just have
confirm it's the same file.
the additions to each. So we're gonna basically we can choose this somewhere here or the versions maybe.
It's
Hey,
in,
Carlos,
Here,
I just realized you're using the headshot from the Joomla Day event.
yeah, no, I use it. It's my default headshot for all my profiles right now.
Nah, it looks good.
Yeah,
beautiful photo.
was
And
an amazing photographer.
Hmm.
let's do a big shout out to Neil. What's web
Yeah.
address, Adam?
Momentsbyt.com,
Yeah,
Great photographer. Anyone
which, by
in
the
the
way, it's a 100% core Joomla site. Not every page is either an article or a category or a tag.
nice.
great.
Cool. So yeah, so anyone in Nashville or Franklin area, Neil's a great photographer. Looks like we can just hit plus here if we want to add more. We don't need to, but just showing you, and then it looks like it will add an additional item for each one we press plus for in the XML file, which is what we're
Yep.
seeing here. So cool. Now we
My
understand a bit
guess
about
is
that.
that when you have a page so somebody can see the change log history for a certain app, that's where it would pull all that information from.
Right. So we may as well create one just so that it doesn't have it by standard in here. No. Okay.
No, but that would be part of the integration is you'd have it so it can add a tab, for instance, with the change logs
Uh,
as an automatic. I could see things like this where this, is looks like it's great for like your use case and everything else, whereas ARS would be maybe you get good at this, figure out how to integrate like on the ARS side, but I could see this as being a easier option for somebody that just
wow.
needs some simple
It
products.
doesn't work as well.
Yeah, ARS is not simple.
No
At least it
No,
problem.
didn't. At least it wasn't.
Right, but I guess
I mean, ARs is awesome, but this is more streamlined. I mean, this just you add your project, you
and
add
I think
your
it's
software.
also a different a user profile, like somebody that's got 100 extensions or 50 extensions, uh their understanding and knowledge is going to allow them to set up ARS to make life easier for them. Somebody that's just trying to get started and launch, has a couple extensions, they don't want to go down as deep down that rabbit hole, then this is a great alternative for somebody to jump in there, and they may find that they don't need to ever update, and they may find that they need to, but I think starting off on something like this for some people would be easier to get them on board than getting
Sorry,
frustrated.
sorry,
you know
Ellen, why don't you go to system, enable the bug, and we can see if it is a bug of the component because it looks like that, or if it is. something else we
Okay,
need to
that's good.
configure.
There is no
There's no
project ID or
ID or
element.
element specified.
Right, but
Yes.
know where we can put this, right? As far as looking for it before. So there's nothing here, right? For my being blind.
Nope.
Uh,
And
nothing
sync
is here.
type.
No.
Okay.
Normal Joomla options. Normal Joomla options. Normal
No,
Joomla.
it looks like a bug in the component. It's not added there. We can add it.
Huh? So you can't do
Open
it.
your FTP and we can add the default project ID.
Oh, I see. I see. Uh,
Oh, well, we can even go. We can even add the option and we send an update to Sergey.
yes, let's do both. So everyone can see. 1 second. I'll get the FTP to work first. Okay, so we're gonna go to components.
Yeah.
Let's give ourselves a bit more room. Change log. So with that one.
Well, let's no, wait. Let's do it in a cooler way because if we send this fix to Sergey, but he doesn't like it and he implements his own solution, we are going to we will need to redo our configuration when he updates with his own solution. So let's do it in our own way, and then we can send the fix. So for this, create an override of the changelog page. An override? Yeah, that's the best idea. The way is to create an override.
Good idea. So we're gonna go to establish
Yeah.
projects and then change log. Perfect.
Perfect.
So he's a good
Now,
developer because he's already from the override system.
yeah. So now we go to the editor, we go to HTML on top.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, chainsaw. And now we are going to create a new file that will be, well, actually go to the FTP, it's easier.
Yes.
Yeah, go to changelog. Now to the override part, not to, yeah, go to the template and that stuff. Yeah, exactly, it's Cassiopeia, yeah, com, SD, yeah, chainsaw. Oh,
Yes, that worked. There's no files. So we must oops.
what happened? Didn't copy
It
anything.
doesn't is not
And
Hit
does it
the
have it? It says
but it
the,
doesn't have it here either, right? Because it's only XML, not
yeah, okay,
PHP.
and check, open that
Thank
default
you.
one. Open it. Actually,
Well, let's have a look. Okay, nothing there.
well, this is completely. Yeah, but we probably have the view, but we don't have check the code. We probably have the view in the SRC folder. Yeah, there it is. No, but this is. Oh, no, I see what's the problem. We copied the changelog URL for the update.
admin.
I mean, no. This view is to provide the changelog server. This
Oh,
provides the XML. That's why there is no TPL and that stuff.
so
It's
this is
probably not the best
in
way
here.
to create a view. I will add it in another way, but that's what this does. It doesn't provide the.
So here we have to put something here.
No. I mean, that view, that TMPL, is not meant to show a web page, a website. It's just meant.
Toast.
I mean, it's just to provide an XML. It's just the XML file that you download or Joomla downloads when he wants. It's looking for the changes.
I see. But
You,
then,
okay,
but
so
even
that's
so,
why
then
we cannot. There is nothing else there. Okay, it makes sense. And the view
so
is
then
there
the
because
menu
he probably
item.
missed it. Don't know why. Yeah, no, there is no. Yeah, there is no change log page for it. It's
Yeah,
not a
you're
live
trying
view.
to call something to as a view on the home on the front end, but it's not intended as a view. It was intended
Exactly.
as
Exactly. It's not a real view, actually. I
Why is that
mean,
menu item though?
it's to
he has
give
it.
for the
Probably
go ahead.
he has it so that you can have it in a nice SEF URL. So you can add it like more dubbing, change log, and then or my change logs or something like that. So when the URL for the change log is generated, it's generated using your SEF URL. So that's why he probably added. So just remove that menu item because the change logs it has to be shown in the project, in the view of the project.
Okay.
Make sense?
It doesn't make sense that there's a menu item though, right?
No, it makes sense because then you can have a specific SEF URL. Right now, check the XML for the update, please.
Yeah, what he's saying is if somebody clicks on a link to update the extension, instead of having it being like index.php and then all the rest of it,
Right, right.
this is by having this menu link, it's actually making that into a SEF URL that's
With the
simpler
name you
and
want,
easier.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's to make it pretty. Not that it's not a point on that, but
But maybe what I think what Owen is probably getting at is on this menu item is something to let the person know this isn't, something to view on the front end,
yeah,
and kind of that way they're not sitting there wondering and putting it in their main menu and wondering why people are having a bad experience.
exactly. That is meant to be hidden, Ewin, that menu item.
Right. Gotcha. Okay.
So you can just remove it.
We can leave it and hide it, right? So then we'll just go here. Okay. Right. So then don't worry about this. We have our product set up.
Yeah.
This is J2 store.
Now you see if you click on versions, you see a change log somewhere. No, it's not there. Interesting. Now interesting because on their web page it is showing the change log.
It would probably be maybe under versions, maybe. Look
No, it's
under,
not
no,
there.
on the front end tab. Did you already click on that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. It wasn't there.
Well, let's just check here in case there's an option for it. Oh, doesn't look like it. Oh, okay. It is what it is. Doesn't show for some reason.
Click on 1.0.1.
Thank you.
Right. So maybe if we put something here, it would be it.
Yeah, there it is. First stable release. That's what you typed in for the
Ah, yeah,
change
there it
log.
is. There it is. Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, cool. So if we
Oh,
wanted to link it, we would just put this. Okay, cool. So we have achieved our goal for today. Or not? We've achieved many others as well on the way.
And the funny thing is, I think we all learned something new that somebody else here took for granted because they use it all the time, like typing in category name instead of getting out doing what I and it sounds like that that Troy also was doing as well is just going into the category section, creating the category, then going back in, not realizing that we could. Now, obviously, if you need it as a sub category, you would still just create it. And then once it's saved, then you could move it underneath it. But if you're looking for a top level category, that seems like a pretty easy way of doing it.
I've learned something today. Cool. Oops. So
Okay, I send you my bank account number for the money or
yes, please do. How many
Mm.
how many bitcoins do you want?
yeah, a couple of bitcoins will be enough.
Okay, great. Sending it. As soon as we get enough YouTube subscribers, we'll send it. Cool. So anything
Awesome.
else anyone wants to bring up or discuss or anything?
Well,
No,
I would propose for the next
Yes.
session
Here we go.
a ticket system or checking for a ticket system or some way to what's the best way to communicate with your customers or users in this kind of
The
projects.
best way is probably with a WhatsApp admin chat button.
Well, that's one thing, but you have solutions like Akiva tickets, which I love,
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which we use,
and
yeah.
You use that as
and yeah,
well?
so
I mean, look, I don't want this to be like a show and tell kind of talk. I rather teach people coding, which we didn't really do today. But
no, yeah,
this was maybe like one step towards allowing people to become developers and sell their products. Which is why I did this talk. But really,
I
I
agree
don't
on
want
that.
to do like install and configure type shows. I'd rather do coding shows. In
Okay.
fact, I don't even want to do shows. I want everybody to code themselves and come outside their comfort zone and ask for help from people like Carlos and Adam who are really good at coding. And
You
Ben.
know what would be
So,
cool would be kind of having like, in this case, with the SP, projects or whatnot, like being able to have different people like, I want to integrate this with this system and this system. And then, you have different people that are all working on integrating like one half, which is let's say this, the project component
yes,
with, like in my case, like having something with J2, somebody else comes in and they want to integrate it with their system or not even theirs, just a system that they use.
right.
Where now you have these things that are coming out of this that, are given back to the community for free, but, it was a learning experience and it also me helps the ecosystem because now you're helping some of these extensions expand their user base and opportunities. But I think maybe something in that regards where it's, you know, by building these cool things that we give back to the community, we're not only learning, getting better, and people watching it are learning how to do it, but it's actually going into something that's not just building something that's on its own, but something that can help other um, extension developers that may not be on here that think everybody in the ecosystem, wouldn't mind getting a couple extra customers if they could. So,
Yeah,
Okay, two more proposals. I'm not sure if I will be around on the next session, but
there you go.
two more proposals. One is creating that plugin that integrates J2 Commerce with SWJ projects,
Good
which
idea.
would be interesting.
Yes.
And another proposal is recently I came to notice that there is no any documentation about how to use the workflow, the state manager, the new state manager that we have in Joomla, a workflow system with your own extension. But it's actually that you can do.
And it's useful. Yeah. Okay. So
So we could investigate or do some research on how to integrate workflows in your own extension.
yes, but you need to think of a use case. But yes, that's a good idea.
Well, having Adam here, I can think of a use case that when an order is created, the next state could only be cancelled or in progress. And after that, if it isn't if it is cancelled, it cannot be changed to a different state. If it is in progress, it can be to payment or waiting payment. That kind of that's what the workflow component is about. It's about uh, setting up the path that your items are going to take when they get into the system. We can make
It's
it simpler,
interesting.
like I recently I'm almost finished developing an issues extension where people can submit their issues and it could use that kind of development too. I actually brought my own development for that, so we can switch that for a workflow version. and it could be easier. Like when an issue gets into the system, it can be rejected, it can be started. When it is started, it can be closed, or it can be solved, or it can be answered. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And once it
Right.
is closed, you cannot do anything. So how do you integrate that with the Joomla Workflows Manager? That would be an idea.
So,
Yeah, it's good.
so are you saying that like when we are in the process of rebuilding, when it comes to the order flow, for instance, that instead of using the internal functions that's already in there, that we could tie into workflow and use that as a way of basically the conveyor belt in the factory to use instead of having to rebuild our own.
Yep. Actually, you can do that right now in Joomla. It's
Yeah.
just it's not documented, but you can create your own integration with the workflows so that the one managing the shop can choose which is the workflow for their orders. So that might be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna have a call with Olivier after this, so I'm gonna bring that up to him since it's still fresh in my mind, but that's a great use of it. And just like instead of using the current J2 email system to tie into the Joomla email system, so that way they can use their own templating
Well,
and
actually,
everything
we can
else.
also, I mean, integrating mail templates is really easy right now in the extension. We can work about that. It's really easy, extremely easy.
Is there a way that we could check which computer they use? And if it's a PC, we can email a manual saying we purchased this via a PC.
Yeah. Manuel is not here. He's taking a bath
Only if it's Windows.
in the
He doesn't
Caribbean
work on
Sea.
Mac.
He is right now. So
Can I show you guys something real quick?
Yeah.
Well,
sure.
it depends what it is.
Oh, well, you know. Do I wanting that one? Well, gee, I wonder who that is. Why?
I recognize that girl.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I wrote this little widget. It's not little, it's 600 page lines of code. And what it is, it's an automatic packager. Currently, it's only for modules. I don't know if it'll work with components and plugins or not. But when you do a PR and you merge the PR, or if you want to manually run it,
Yeah.
like you've done some commits and you want to test out what you've got, this will automatically run. And what it does your versioning automatically. It does your changelog automatically. It creates the zip automatically, and creates something that looks like this.
Wow,
Let's
that's
see.
pretty impressive.
Cool. Adam, how are you doing this at the moment?
ARS is actually taking the changes from GitHub and building it out.
Okay.
But yeah, this actually looks really cool.
Yeah. So
The thing I love about it is I don't have to do anything. I do my commits, right? And you can see it's keeping track of the commits.
Right.
And when I'm ready to zip it up as a released version, I simply either create a PR or manually go run the action, either one. But I create the PR, I merge the PR, and it's done. Everything is done.
Right.
I don't have to do a thing. And to set it up, this was a change I made the other day. It's so easy to set up now. Why does this not? Oh, I guess I just didn't push the change. Okay, well, let's go. My screen's too big. This is a junk one that I was trying to work. Let's see, it should be in this one. Yeah. Okay. Let me zoom in and go full screen. So all you've got to do now for somebody else to use it is just change just these lines of code. And it gives you a full description of what they are. And as long as it knows that bits of information, it does everything all by itself.
Very
Now,
nice.
whether it'll work with plugins and components, I don't know.
Hmm.
That's
Well,
something Carlos
probably
might be able to answer.
it might work. I mean, the XML is the same. It's at the same location, or it could be at the same location. It's just updating the references you have in the Docker script that you have down there,
Right.
and that's all you need. I mean, it's not like,
Oh, and it creates the updater automatically and hosts it.
oh, that's great.
There's the updater.
So
And,
all the work we did today with SWJ projects is for nothing, right?
right. Here's the
Uh,
change log.
you probably could have shown this at the beginning, and we have time.
Well, I didn't want to take over your show.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's really nice.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That's probably the one of the things I'm aside from Bears Amp that I'm proudest for.
Nice.
But it was, and I like Adam was talking about Claude. Yeah, me and Claude had several discussions over what needed to be done and how to do it. And yeah, I did use
Well,
Claude to help build it.
my takeaway is that you got the same dog joint, little biscuits back there as we have for our dogs. So you must have a like a lab or a golden retriever or something in that size range.
Blue Healer.
Yeah, that's similar to a border collie, right?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
a
About the same size.
Australian Shepherd. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never
yeah.
heard
Well,
We
I
of
said
have
I don't know if you guys would find that it useful or not, but you're welcome to share it with anybody you want.
Well, that's why we're here. So yeah, thanks for sharing.
yeah.
Carlos, if you want to mess with it, I'd be interested in knowing whether it works with components and plugins or not.
I will try, but my time is quite limited. So
Right.
uh,
Well,
I will try. I
theoretically, you
will try. I
change
mean,
6 lines of code and it works.
yeah, it should work. It's just adjusting the references in the script. So I will try to check because I find it interesting. I have my own solution which involve it's not so automated. It's just for creating the zip file, and
Right.
it's just a bash script.
I used to use I can't remember Gulp or something like that.
But
Yeah.
having
But
this,
but
yeah,
what I really respect the most is that Bear said, Carlos, can you test it? It's easy. It's only changing 6 lines of code, but you do it.
no, I used a gulp also sometimes. I mean, I still have some projects that have used gulp, but I found it. I mean, it was really you need to learn something new and you need to start importing packages and stuff, and I don't like the only problem I see with these GitHub workflows or GitLab actions or whatever you want to use in the platform you are is that you depend on the computer on another person, and I am not happy with so much dependency for my scripts or for my interaction. But
Right.
as you know, you can run those. Probably you can run those on your own Docker system, so it's probably worth it to.
But
Oh,
you're
probably.
always gonna be using something like even Docker. You're relying on Docker then, right? So
Yeah, no, but it's not the same. Like I can have Docker and I have it on my computer, and
right,
it could live there forever. You
right.
could update it or not, but it could still be there.
I
That
see.
when you
Right.
depend on the running power of another one, you are limited to their kindness.
Okay.
So that's what I don't like. So, but
Yeah.
no,
Or
it's
else we
it's
might have to
it's
change system
really.
at some
I
point,
mean,
basically.
I also use I was I was fun when you check you show what are your extension for your text expander alternative because I have the same philosophy. You use the free stuff as much as you can, and
Yes.
Right.
and if you consider you need to pay, you pay. So yeah,
Right. I just thought I'd share that with you guys since it's a developers group.
Yeah, no, it's very, very useful. Thank you.
yeah, we will check. It would be great to integrate it into SWJ projects or Archive Release System too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have a think about it and work out what to do next because I just want this to be useful for people to watch, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
I just want to encourage everybody that Joomla is kind of easier to use. Like really want to use core Joomla and just do updates, modules, components. Even actually, Carlos, your talk at Joomla Day USA about the component building would be quite useful to try and do that as a group, maybe.
Yeah, happy to redo it. I actually made it better because I did it like 3 or 4 times last year in different. I did it for Yula de Spain, for Yula de France.
Yeah.
Um,
Because if we can just get somebody to build such a simple component in an hour or two, then it would encourage them to build more complex components, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. We can definitely do that. But the only problem I see is like at this time on Sundays I cannot guarantee my presence. But um,
Well,
yeah,
that brings up also a good topic because there's a lot of people that say they want to, but at this particular time, it
Right.
seems to not necessarily be the best. And maybe even on some Saturday nights for you, Owen, this might not be the best option to have it on a Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon
Yeah, yeah,
for
it's too
you.
early for me.
So maybe we can do like a survey to
So
see
like
if
the reason I picked this is because it's like I looked around the world at all the different time zones and this was like the one which would match with America, match with the UK, match with, you know, Europe and covered the most coverage. But it doesn't really matter. It only matters the people that want to attend. And I had a couple
yeah,
of guys from Australia saying it's in like 3 in the morning for us. We don't want to come,
yeah.
you know. But if they
Right.
do want to come and we can make it more accessible for them, great. Some people say Sundays, like I guess Carlos is a good example, where it's like a family day. You know, young, free and single, so not a problem for me. But I understand other people have proper lives, so yeah, we can change it. I don't mind.
We
Let's
can
do.
try
well,
Well, we'll do.
different time zones
I'll
and
do a Google form and I'll stick it in the Mattermost and in the Facebook group, and we can see.
great.
maybe also you just the ones that actually are on, even if it's not the best time for them, maybe just kind of see in the smaller group like what's the best times, give them maybe 4 or 5 different ones, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe this ends up being the best time. The people that are actually making an effort to come on,
Mm.
the last thing we want to do is change it to a time that works for people that may or may not show up, and then
Right. Exactly.
exclude
Yeah.
the ones that are. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Um,
So let's just ask Emmanuel.
On defense of Sundays, I
Yeah.
have to say that I couldn't spend 2 hours. We are now in 2 hours 10 minutes on a working day. So this is true.
yeah.
So
Yeah, so if it was for me on a like I could do a Tuesday evening in the UK, but that would not work for like India are 5 hours ahead, which
yeah,
would be a problem. But we had Mohammed attend once and haven't had any he didn't attend again and you know we had Americans and Europeans, so maybe you know we need to consider whether Australians would be the target market rather than
yeah. But
Asia.
for Australia, you need to do it in the mornings. In
Yeah,
European mornings, and for you it's night. So
yeah.
no,
So
for you no, sorry. For Adam it's the night.
but
So
then if we do mornings for us, then America is screwed.
it's screwed. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. I could only imagine what the session would be last night if it was, at the height of the redneck party.
Yeah,
You guys would be seeing things that you wouldn't be able to unsee.
same if we did it last night for me, to be honest with you. Still getting news reports through on WhatsApp. Cool. Look, I'll put a survey out there, and we'll at least we'll have asked the people, and we'll have the information. Even if we don't change it, at least we'll know.
If you want a piece of advice, just focus on a time that works for you and for us. I mean,
Mhm.
you are like the leader of the group, so focus on a time that works for you and that you are happy doing it on that time and that day, and people will come.
That's
And you
true.
know what? Maybe this is the best time, because you're right. 2 hours in the middle of a normal workday would be
No,
it'd be
no, for me
hard.
it's impossible. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I chose a Sunday. Well, we could have done a Saturday as well, but anyway,
Yeah.
this it still was asking the question. At least we have the information.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I
a
think for the
few people
next
have
session,
commented. So
honestly, yeah, I mean, to me, like, I think it would be awesome to maybe have, like, if Carlos can, do the next couple meetings where we can do like first 4 or 5 chapters of his book, and people, that come in later, let's say the next session where we're doing the next round, they can easily go buy his book to catch up
yeah,
and
and watch
bring
the
them
video. Yeah,
and watch the videos.
yeah.
But I think it would be good to kind of that way everybody can kind of build a component as we go through this, on a expedited kind of follow along, and it could be whatever somebody like, if Emmanuel's looking to build an internal system that allows him to easily manage his clients and their information and all that, that maybe he's building that component that's, just a different name than from the book, but something that he's following along, more, and each of us are. But I think that would be something that would really give a lot of people, some real knowledge on the coding side, because they're going to be spending a lot more time on that. But then seeing how it interacts while you're building out the interfaces and everything else is pretty cool.
Yeah, cool. Right, we'll come up with something because yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's the sort of thing I wanted to do originally. So for sure we should do that, I think.
Great. Okay, I am leaving now. Thank you very much. It was really, really interesting. I will try to check your solution there, promise.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
no rush.
Perfect.
Let's. I hope I can do it next time.
Perfecto.
Bye.
Gracias, Carlos. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
And Troy, was that what you wanted to
Yeah,
talk about at the end? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Right. You can stay on this if you want.
Oh,
I'll leave and you guys can chat
no,
if you need
that's
to.
true, Troy. You mentioned that. So yeah,
Oh, actually,
I'm
this
in.
is recording, so perhaps if you want to talk about anything confidential, don't do it on here.
yeah. No, that was all it was going to be.
Oh,
Was
right.
just
Oh, okay.
showing the
Ah, okay, okay,
action.
okay. Then I'll leave it now. See ya.
Okay. Ciao. All right,
Awesome.
I
guys.
just
Bye.
wanted to show
Thanks
you
for
guys the
attending.
action because maybe others can use it.
Yeah. Very useful. Thanks. Appreciate the
No,
sharing.
I think we just need, like anything else, I think we just need to be able to make it so people can understand how it can help them, even if it's just on something, a simple thing that they're building. Um, but yeah, like anything, if somebody can see it and it's easy for them to understand like what it does, I think this will be really powerful for them.
Okay. All right. Talk to you guys later.
Awesome, guys.
Later, guys. Thanks. See you later.
Good night.